Hi everyone, Ashmeet Kapoor from ISA Organic. So ISA Organic basically is a simple concept. We're trying to build a farm to fork model, connecting organic farmers directly to producers, making organic food easily accessible while recognizing, rewarding the farmers that we work with. So I'll get into details, but let's take a step back and see how I got here into agriculture and food, something I had no background in. My slides not moving either. Oh, there. So basically, I studied electrical engineering. I did a master's in entrepreneurship when I was in the US. Following which, my initial interest was clean technologies. I joined a solar startup. But started realizing that entrepreneurship really was where I wanted to be at. Eventually got involved with a group of researchers doing something in clean water delivery for villages. And that was really, the initial time when I started doing something in the social space. I used to think that that was something I'd do when I was 45, but got really into it, really enjoyed it. We did really well, raised a lot of money in grants, etc., etc. But what ended up happening is there was lack of commitment from the other founders in the venture. I was actually for a good 7-8 months the only full-time committed person in the team. Didn't share the vision. Decided to step away from that, and since I'd sort of made up my mind that I wanted to do something in the social space, moved back to India with the intent to really, figure out what's going on. Got a job offer, but decided to, just travel the country, see what's going on, who the role models are. Went on this thing called the Jagriti Yatra, which takes you around the country. And sort of doing that, my initial idea was to do something in electrification or pure water purification, but what I was seeing everywhere I was going was just, farmland, and most of the country depends on farming for livelihoods, but that's not really what's paying the bills. And that really struck me, like for any development to happen till the time you don't really get the focus back to agriculture, you can't really make much progress. While doing my research in agriculture, what the problems were, really the concept of industrial agriculture struck me as something which is not viable for India at all. The dependence on the market for pesticides, fertilizers, seeds just sort of shrinks the farmers, financial capacity, and they're just in debt all the time. On that thought, took a piece of land on lease in eastern UP where I'd initially gotten for another project, just to sort of get my hands dirty, see what farming is all about. Spent 6 months there, did it then, probably can't do it again. Learned and really validated that, organic was the way forward. Spent a lot of time with farmers interacting, learning about their problems. What I realized is working at the grassroots is great, but if you really want to make an impact, especially in the space I was in, it's going to take a long time, and there's already a lot of organizations doing good work, working with farmers, converting them to organic. What was lacking was the market linkages, which I then decided to focus on, look for other groups. On this one particular group in Lucknow, working with an NGO, it seemed very promising initially, signed a contract, lots of few lakh rupees. Ended up being not a very good arrangement. It was sort of like a money-making scheme from them. Anyway, at that point, sort of, it was like a sort of a confusing period for the company. Didn't really have farmers, didn't have customers, didn't know what to do. Moved back to Delhi, and there was a lot of thoughts on how to go about doing things, where are we going to find the farmers. Found a lot of farmer groups, but nothing really which was working. A lot of monopolistic farmers, aggregators, not transparent about where they're getting things from. The one thing which was in mind is that whatever I do, it needs to be a scalable model. I mean, I didn't want a service which fine can satisfy 100 farmers, but beyond that, it can't go. So we were very specific about the kind of farmers that we needed to work with. Someone who's well organized, can take care of the local operations. There's transparency where the farmers are. So with that in mind, finally, after a few months, we found some good farmer groups in Karsog Valley in Himachal, in Sirsa, in UP. And sort of these guys had been doing good work on the ground. We went to them through local partners, and we came on board as sort of the marketing partners. We focused exclusively on fruits and vegetables for many points. One, people didn't know where to get organic fruits and vegetables, even people who were looking for organic options. Second, for farmers, it's a great way to boost incomes, make more regular incomes. Instead of doing wheat and rice, you do seasonal fruits and vegetables, which gets you income all the time. And there's a big market for it, I mean, if you do things right. So Then we sort of got a space in Oka, rent, where we set up a cold storage, a packing space, got some delivery vans, and ended up basically making a online and phone-based service to get people organic vegetables 7 days a week, as conveniently as a sabji wala does. Um, Challenges, it's been a year since we launched the service. Indian customers are hard to deal with, probably the most difficult in the world. There's reasons like, we have 5 servants or 3 servants, we don't want to feed them organic food. Other reasons like our parents don't allow us. So anyway, there's been a lot of learnings. We know what kind of segment to target, which mostly is younger, more professional households. But consciousness is very important. So we play an active role in the awareness around organic food, not just for health, but socially. It needs to be very convenient and it needs to be affordable. These are sort of the core tenets of our model. So if we looked at the space of organic in Delhi, people did services like twice a week delivery, etc., and nothing was really viable from a consumer point of view. What's needed is establishing trust, because it's India and people don't trust you when you say that, I give you organic food. Like, how do I know it is organic? So effective communication, always maintaining that personal touch with the customer, that's going to be very important even growing. And what's working really well, because we've been doing that, is that word of mouth has really taken over and we're getting a lot of new customers just based on the initial customers we acquired. Now, these are just our sort of growth plans. Right now we work with 3 farmer groups, 50 farmers. But we need to also start playing an active role in capacity building of farmer groups so they can have the local sort of agencies which work with us and scale up on the retail side through cooperative or a franchise model. This was a lame slide, but I didn't know each slide what it could be. It took me 30 minutes to come up with this. So sort of like what we need right now, obviously we need a good team. I'm the only founder, but at this point we're looking for people in finance strategy and we're looking for funding.